Major concerns about a vaccine
A drug that's creating controversies overseas.
An alarming number of serious adverse reactions and even deaths.
Now in search of a new and apt testing ground,
They cost less than 20% of what it costs in the Western countries.
where the subjects to be tested on don't question and are naive.
Our poor children have lives, they've got no value.
Where poverty, illiteracy and innocence are taken for granted.
Now this place is 16 kilometers away from the nearest metal road, 20 kilometers away from a basic secondary school and 41 kilometers away from the nearest hospital. But surprisingly enough, this remote village in the Khammam district of Andhra Pradesh is on the international map as a hot clinical trial destination for a debated cervical cancer vaccine. In 2009, young girls of the tribal villages in the Khammam district were vaccinated with the HPV human papilloma virus vaccine to prevent cervical cancer. An American NGO, PATH, along with the pharmaceutical companies Merck, GSK and the Indian Council of Medical Research started this program, termed then as a demonstration project. Girls in the age bracket of 10 to 15 years were targeted in remote villages, schools and hostels, and by the end of it, 14,019 girls had been vaccinated. But within 6 months, 4 of them died.
We've given 55 million doses, and there's a background noise of deaths, background noise of side effects, especially in this age group. So, usually in any vaccine, when we do surveillance, there is background noise.
So the question arises, after the controversies in the United States, did the pharma giant come to India to further test the vaccine, to help sell the vaccine internationally? This tribal village Yaragattu has a population of 248 people. 19 of them are girls between 10 to 15 years of age. I called a meeting of these girls and their parents who gave the so-called informed consent to administer the HPV vaccine to their child. A quick chat with them revealed that none of them understand what cervical cancer is and no one understood what the HPV vaccine was about. None of them are even literate.
जब फॉर्म भरा था तब उसमें साइन किया था कि अंगूठा छाप लगाया था
Is it this kind of informed consent that Merck, PATH and the Indian Council of Medical Research are referring to? In Yaragattu village, I met Mudiraju and Mariamma. Their 13-year-old daughter Sayamma was one among the 19 girls vaccinated in this village. She died within days after the first dose of the vaccine itself.
My daughter died within 30 days of taking the first dose of the vaccine.
Sayamma was in class 8. Her mother believes that the HPV vaccine abruptly ended her daughter's life.
Now, the Declaration of Helsinki, formulated by the World Health Association, states that you can only carry out clinical trials on a population that can afford the drug once it's available in the market. Otherwise, it's unethical. Now, this family out here can't even afford a decent meal a day. Forget about a vaccine which costs rupees 9,000. Mudiraja and Mariamma's only meal a day is a raw mango with some pickle. If someone comes knocking at their door suggesting a 9,000 rupees vaccine free of cost ensuring good health for their daughter, would they refuse it? So are pharmaceutical companies and research organizations deliberately targeting rural, uneducated India to test vaccines?
The reason they are all flocking to India is very clear. Basically, it is that the trials here are very cheap. Our calculation is that they cost less than 20% of what it costs in the Western countries. You have got a loose regulatory system.
In the past 3 years, 728 deaths were reported during clinical trials in India. Also, 7 clinical trials were conducted without the informed consent of the patients. 180 kilometers away from Khammam at Warangal is another family rebuilding their shattered life after their son died due to clinical trials conducted by GVK Bio.
They should have done these tests on rats, but they tested their drugs on my son and killed him.
Naresh is the younger brother of Kolgani Surinder, who supported himself and his family in Hyderabad by being a subject for drug studies conducted by research groups. On December 5, 2008, during a clinical trial on felodipine drug being conducted by GVK Bio, Surinder was given a 10 mg tablet of felodipine. There he complained of chest pain and breathlessness, and he was being rushed to the hospital for treatment, but he died. Surinder's brother Naresh tells me that after his brother's death, he found out from a GVK Bio employee that families from villages and the streets are picked up to conduct these tests and paid the same meager amount a daily wage labourer earns, 150 rupees.
एक आदमी लेबर का पेमेंट 150-200 दिया, इधर से 300-400 3 डेज का फूड एंड बेड जा रहे हैं।
तो ये 3 दिन जो बेड फूड देता है कहाँ पे रखते हैं इनको?
लैब में सीक्रेट लैब में।
After Surinder's death, his parents couldn't afford to live in Hyderabad and shifted back to Warangal, where they now live in the small dark hut. This photograph of Surinder is all that they have to remind them of their dead son.
He was our eldest son. We were depending on him to take care of us when we grow old.
GVK Bio, in response to the death, submitted a statement saying that Surinder was a subject of clinical trials on many drugs, and this time the drug reacted adversely. But aren't clinical research organizations supposed to do health checks on their trial subjects? I tried to ask GVK Bio these questions, but was turned away from the entrance itself. The growing industry of clinical trials in India may be good news for the healthcare industry. New vaccines could save lives, medical breakthroughs may be possible, but can medical research and trials afford to take shortcuts, bend rules and be reckless with the human lives involved? Is it fair to sacrifice the poor to secure lives in the future?